but this dotage of Antony's overflows the measure. Those his goodly eyes, that through the files and musters of the war did glow like planted Mars, now bend, now turn the office and devotions of their view to a tawny front. His captain's heart, that through the scuffles and great fights did burst the buckles of his breast, now reneges old temper, and is become the bellows and the fan to cool a gypsy's lust.
Captain Cat, the retired blind sea captain, asleep in his bunk in the seashell chipping bottled ship-shaped best cabin of schooner house, dreams of never such seas as any that swamped the decks of his SS Kidwelly, bellying over the bedclothes and jellyfish slippery, sucking him down so deep into the Davy dark, where the fish come biting out and nibble him down to his wishbone, and the long drowned nuzzle up to him.
Well, honour is the subject of my story. I cannot tell what you or other men think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lief not be, as lief to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born as free as Caesar, so were you. We both are fed as well. We both can endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once, upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shores, Caesar said to me, "Darest thou, Cassius, now, leap in with me into this angry flood, and swim to yonder point?" Well, upon the word, accoutreless I was. I plunged in and bade him follow. And so indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon his shoulders the great Anchises bear, so did I, from the troubled Tiber, the tired Caesar. Oh, and this man has now become a god. And Cassius is a wretched creature, who must bend his body, if Caesar carelessly but nod on him. He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was upon him, I did mark how he did shake. Oh, 'tis true, this god did shake. His coward lips did from their colour fly, and that same eye whose bend doth all the world did lose its lustre. I did hear him groan. Aye, and that tongue of his that bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. Alas, it cried, give me some drink, Titinius. As a sick girl. Ye gods, it does amaze me. A man of such a feeble temper should so get the start of the majestic world and bear the palm alone.
Do you ever think of yourself as actually dead? Like lying in a box with a lid on it? No, nor do I really. Silly to be depressed by it. One thinks of it like being alive in a box. One keeps forgetting to take into account the fact that one is dead. Which should make all the difference, really, shouldn't it? I mean, you wouldn't know you're in a box, would you? It would just be like being asleep in a box. Not that I'd like to sleep in a box, mind you. Not without any air. Well, you'd wake up dead for a start, and then where would you be? Apart from inside a box. And that's the bit I don't like, frankly. That's why I don't think of it. Because you'd be helpless, wouldn't you, stuffed in a box like that? You'd be in there forever. Even taking into account the fact that one is dead is not a pleasant thought. Especially if you're dead, really. Ask yourself, if I asked you straight off, I'm going to stuff you in this box now, would you rather be alive or dead? Naturally, you'd prefer to be alive. Life in a box is better than no life at all. I expect. You'd have a chance at least. You could lie there thinking, well, at least I'm not dead. In a minute, somebody's going to come along, bang on the lid and tell me to come out. Hey you, what's your name? Come out of there. I wouldn't think about it if I were you. You'll only get depressed. Eternity. It's a terrible thought. I mean, where's it going to end? Good evening, officer. Yeah, we could do that. You could ask me for my papers and I could tell you that the car's not mine, that it's borrowed. See where things go from there. You could do that. Or you could get in your car and drive away. Because there are some roads you just don't go down. Maps used to say, here be dragons. Now they don't. That doesn't mean there ain't no dragons. How old's your kid? Let me tell you how this is going to happen. Officer Brimley. I'm going to wind up my window and drive away. You're going to go home to your daughter. And every few years, you'll look her in her face and know that she's still alive. Because you chose not to drive down a certain road on a certain night. That you chose to walk into the light and not the darkness. Do you understand me? Keep your hands on the table. Relax. I ain't gonna kill you. Did you serve, Liam, in the war? 3 years. France, mostly. It's almost impossible to describe the horror. It's a living, waking nightmare. There was a soldier, German. He and his men decided to attack our position. It was nighttime and he was crawling under the barbed wire. I shot him twice. once in the stomach, and once in the neck. He slumped over the barbed wire, and no matter how hard he tried to wriggle free, it just got worse for him. I left him there like that for several days, listening to him moaning, crying, Mutti, Mutti, Mutti. That's Mama in German. Mama. That's what he kept saying. Curiously, despite his situation being utterly hopeless, he just didn't want to die. Like some miracle would befall him and take him out of his predicament. He clung on so desperately to life. Some people feel that, especially in a situation like that, that being alive is much, much worse. I'm going to go now. I don't ever want to see you again.